Welcome back to Everything Whiskey. I'm Callum.
And I'm Sam.
And today we're having a look at Aerstone Sea Cask.
Alrighty, so we're getting close to hopefully what is going to be the end of these annoying Zoom reviews. Hopefully, yeah. We're open back up. We just with work and stuff, we're not able to catch up until less than a week, like 5 days from now. But that's still going to be like another week of uploads from Zoom for you guys. But either way, we went with another budgety-ish kind of selection. Me and Curly have been buying some less budgety stuff in the meantime, but we're saving it for the good reviews. So Aerstone, I don't even know. I know how to pronounce it. I assume it's Aerstone.
Yeah.
It's a Lowlands Scottish whiskey. It is produced by William Grant and Sons, which is not surprising, and they own an insane amount of stuff. It's 10 years old, 40%. It's they've got a land in the sea cask. The sea cask, this one is meant to be done aged in warehouses that are right near the sea. I think it's the Ayrshire or something on the coast of that. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. It's meant to have more intense weather exposure to weather, like a more intense climate itself. You're getting more of the salty, wind and stuff. And I'm not sure whether it's actually going to translate to taste. Obviously, where you store your barrels and what kind of weather they're exposed to does definitely impact the taste. But I don't know if it being near the sea necessarily is going to mean that it's going to be salty or briny or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there will be that to kind of mull over, whether it's going to be psychosomatic if there are any any instances of that, or if it is totally possible. But I'd be doubtful, but I'd be totally up for being proven wrong. I just haven't done the research on it. I have seen a few other things out there that perk my interest in the same way, though. There was the Jefferson's aged at sea, which is something that I thought this was doing. I thought that the what's it called, the Aerstone Sea Cask, is that what it's called? Sea Cask 10-year-old. Yeah, I thought that might be the same deal as the Jeffersons, because they literally have the barrels on a boat and it sits there and ages. And look, that is more interesting to me because that's a way different, that's not just different climate, but that's the thing rocking and going, that's way different from it just sitting stationary somewhere. So that's cool. I thought it was something like that, but it's more just its barrels are stored close, on the coast, close to the sea. But yeah, I think I'm going to get into just too many different avenues that are nothing to do with this whiskey, so we'll just get into it. But
they're a bit sneaky, these guys, because there was only this one on the shelf, the store I went to. I didn't even know there was a land cask, and it doesn't say anywhere which region it comes from in Scotland.
Yeah.
So I just assumed it was going to be an Isla with the name Sea
because
Cask.
It's Sea Cask or something, yeah.
But then you get home and do some research, and it's not really an Isla. It's just
Lowlands.
It's
Yeah. I mean, it's not. I don't know if it's sneaky marketing, but it's definitely we know that this might be a mistake people make, and we're okay with it, kind of thing. Because I don't know. I think whiskey people would be the only people that would make that mistake.
Yeah. Because
we understand that kind of stuff. That it's probably, if it's on the coast, it's probably up on some of the islands.
Yeah.
But I think other whiskey, just kind of entry level people, wouldn't really know that that's a common thing for coast whiskey. So they just assume that it's pretty common, which it is. But most places are on locks and stuff, large bodies of water, just because it's convenient for distilleries to have access to clean water, clean-ish water. Same way that most distilleries that are old were created either right near train lines or right on the coast, so that it's easier for ships and trains to pick up all their stuff. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're going to find a lot of those kind of similarities too. But again, I don't know if it's going to mean that it's going to taste any different just because it's near the sea.
Well, I mean, initially I'm getting classic lowland notes, to be honest. It's just very
getting
fruity,
fake vanilla and almonds.
Yeah. Fruit, floral, bit of nut. I don't know if probably
Bit
say
of nut.
almond.
It's just kind of like a. It's
almonds,
a pretty neutral like waxiness. And it kind of sits in that kind of more fake flavor.
Yeah, I'm getting malt as well, like that funky malt that we get.
But not as much as like you get with a Speyside or something. It's a little bit dampened down, but it's still got that, you know, just Scotch malty funk.
Yeah, so they're very generic lowland flavors on the nose. I do get a touch of sea salt, but I don't think
I'm getting much saltiness. I don't know if that's real or not.
I don't know if it's just like reading it off the bottle, so it's like.
But like the thing about what their little blurb about what they wrote about it, the two ones, the sea and land cask, like kind of are contradictory for me. Or not contradictory, they're just like not what I thought that they would be the other way around. They're like the sea cask is really nice and smooth and, you know, fruity and, you know, this and that, and it's really, you know, caramelly and sweet and easygoing and smooth. And then they're like, and the land cask is, you know, more peaty and has all these, you know, more kind of earthy notes and stuff. And it's like, I feel like just because of my connotation in my head with Isla and the Isles, the islands, the coast, the, you know, peat by the sea and stuff like that. It's like normally I'd assume that the by the sea one would be the peaty, briny one.
More aggressive one as well.
Not the land one, but I don't know if that's just us, but that's how I read it and was a little bit confused. I thought maybe I'd read it wrong, but no.
Yeah. The more this sits in the
pale,
glass.
it's a little bit musty, dusty. I get a little bit of orange citrus, but it's kind of like a little bit dead. It's like the orange pith kind of part. It's like there, but it's faint.
You know those they're like caramelized nuts with like sugar. They're like doused in sugar. I don't know what they actually are.
It's like honey, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm getting that.
Oh, some of them are.
I'm getting that on the nose.
Yeah, it's like very simple.
Yeah.
It's quite thin. It's not unenjoyable, but it's a little just kind of bland. I definitely would like to taste the other one. It sounds more interesting if it's got peat in it. Normally, to make up for us, what?
Why is it so spiky? Ooh, it's very sharp as well on the taste.
For me, it's just kind of like not like spiky, but it's definitely ethanol-y. It's thin.
And it falls flat.
Yeah, it's not an unpleasant experience, but it's a very short experience, and you don't need to like what you as long as it takes for the taste to go away is all the time you need to get all the taste out of it. It doesn't for me. It doesn't really change or grow. There's not like a ton of layers. It's just kind of what you taste when you first sip it is for the most part what you get every time you sip it.
It tastes like seawater,
which is fine, but.
It tastes like salty seawater at the end.
I get a minerality, but I don't get the saltiness. I like that minerality of, you know, some like certain, like especially hard water. Like you get at certain areas in Australia, there's like water that has a lot more minerals and stuff in it, and leaves those really annoying. Yeah. It's same where I am as well. Like the water was pretty soft, like when you take dishes out and they don't have big spots on them, but here, like if we do dishes and like don't like dry them or don't polish them, then like it ends up with on the glasses the big water spots and stuff. So that's it. I get that minerality, but I don't really get salty seawater. And I'm missing that brine as well that I would hope for something that's more sea-based.
There's no Isla notes that I can find on this.
Nah.
No,
which is it's fine. It doesn't have to be Isla to be it doesn't have to be Isla if it's done on the coast, but I would just assume that I just feel like they mixed up the marketing. On land, it's like away from the brine and the salt, and where peat is normally associated with, it's more smooth and more malty and earthy. And it's like, but no, they did it the other way around. So I kind of want to taste the other one just to see what they mean by that. Like, I want to see the difference if it is like as minimal as the way it kind of sounds.
Imagine if there's been a huge miscommunication and they mislabeled.
Totally effed up the marketing. Yeah, exactly. The other one's like Peat Monster or something. That would be funny. Look, I don't dislike this whiskey. What did I say? Wiki whiskey. The price, the section of the price is fine. Like it's 50 to 60 bucks. I'm not unhappy with spending that. You can get, that's what we had a comment to say that there were like Scotch. Was he? I'm asking myself too many questions before I even finish the first question. The guy who commented saying he was a Scotch fan, but now predominantly bourbons because he can get better quality for the same price in the bourbon zone. Was he Australian? Do we know?
I have no idea.
Because that is something.
The way I read the dollars, he said $80, $100. And that's not
because like
yeah.
I like totally agree with that. I think like the $50 to $70 range here, the $60 range here with scotches, like it's hard to get ones that I'm like I really enjoy. It's pretty damn hard. Like I'd have to go 90, 100 to get ones that I'm like, yeah, this is like some nice stuff. This is what I like. If I want any of the Ardbegs, Lafroig, if I want like Glendronach, anything, if I want, any of those ones, they're all around that 90 to 100. Whereas bourbon, you can go from 50 to 70 and get, you can get Maker's 46, you can get Blanton's, you can get Wild Turkey 101. Sometimes you can get rare breed for that around for under that, for about Russell's 10 Russell's cask or single barrel or whatever.
That's what I suggested to him.
Yeah, like you can get ones that I will like absolutely adore. Like even going for something cheaper, like for $60 you can get Buffalo Trace, and Buffalo Trace is like a little bit bland. Like it's everywhere here, which is kind of the same deal as Blanton's, which is funny because it's the same deal as Blanton's. It's in America where you can't find
either of them.
It sometimes. But yeah, no. So that's kind of Buffalo Trace is like, all right, it's fine. It's a little bit bland, but it's for $60. It's way better than some $60 scotches I've found.
Yeah,
which is kind of frustrating. Like I would enjoy the stout cask Jameson more than the or from our blind tasting video, the Bushmills, which is like the same price, and that's like cheaper that's less than $60 here, and I would enjoy it more than like a $60 scotch.
Yeah,
scotch here is expensive to get the stuff that we like.
I mean, you get a lot of good scotches, but they're just
they're good. They're just we don't enjoy them the same way we can enjoy bourbons in the same price range.
Yeah, it's hard to word. Like the good cheap ones are like Dimples. It's like there's no like Shivers. There's no like that. They're simple no craft ones that you can get access to.
And they're not like they're not super interesting. Like they're really tasty, really easygoing, desserty, smooth. But if you were looking for something that's like insanely multi-layered and like kicks you up against the wall and is like really challenging and interesting and stuff, or just literally if it's above 43%, then you have to pay like a fair bit of money for it. So if you want just a background sipper, scotches for the $60 range is fine here, and this is one of them where I wouldn't be like, ugh, no, I don't want this. I'd have it, but like if I'm going to choose a price and I could choose any kind of area, I'm definitely going to pick bourbon for me.
Yeah.
I just think there's better options in Victoria for that price.
I like this because it's not overly malty like most Lowland Highlands are.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Lowlands are a little bit less malty sometimes than like the Speyside Highlands.
But you still get that really weird malty.
You still can get a lot of it, yeah.
But this is really
nice. It's still got the mustiness, but it's just not as intense, that kind of like wet mildew taste. So I definitely don't mind it. It's just like not... it's exactly what you'd expect if you're used to that price range of scotches here. It's pretty much just that. It's another one of those.
It's on par, yeah.
Alrighty, thank you very much for watching this episode of Everything Whiskey. If you enjoyed it, please do leave us a like. If you want to see future episodes from us, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled videos in person pretty soon, hopefully.
At least another 4 of these, but
we'll like a week.
Yeah.
Anyway, cheers.